Yes, greetings to all my CIS 100 students. Today we want to look at the solution for the 2010 Excel problem, which I have loaded the question below here on the table to the top. A note of advice to my students. You are not to watch this video like a movie. Instead, you have to use it as if you are reading a book. What you need to do is to play to one section and follow along. Press pause, and if you have to repeat it, repeat that section of the video. So you are to work along with the file that you have as you solve the problem. So let's look at the question. The first thing you have to do is to create a folder on your desktop. Save it as your last name, student ID. I wouldn't do that here, but I trust that you would be able to do so. You get a mark for that. So that is spreadsheet related. However, let's look at the spreadsheet section. So you are to save your spreadsheet into that folder. You are to create this table and do the following calculation. The total sold for the sales rep, and that is these values here. The highest sale figures, meaning you have to search here and pick up the highest sales figures for each column. And finally, the total models sold. The total sold by model, sorry. So that's here. Next, we are going to create a column chart for the total sold by each sales rep. So the column chart must have the sales rep, that is from this row, along with the total that we would have calculated. Okay, so that's what we have to do. But I must tell you that one of the things I advise all my students is that you must format the table properly before you work. I would have typed the table here, but if you notice, there are some issues. One, the text spills over in some of the cells, and there is no distinction between the heading and content. And thirdly, we do not know where our table ends from the rest of the Excel sheets. So we are going to fix those now. Let's put in some borders around the table. So we can click here, anywhere in the table, press Ctrl A on the keyboard to select the entire table. And we go up on the font group and click the drop down arrow by the borders selection and select all borders. So this is our table here. No, I didn't. I am supposed to add that top row. So let me do that over all borders. All right, so the top row has a border, but we still have the issue of text spilling out. So I'm just going to drag this time to select the table. So we just click anywhere and hold down the mouse key and drag. And I'm going to go to Format. And on the Format menu, select Auto Fit Column Width. Right. Now it seems to have done a good job along with these B, C, and D, but column A is very wide, and that is because the table header is in that column. So we can resize this by simply putting our cursor between the border, the junction of column A and B, and dragging. Okay, sometimes I have problems when I'm working with these touchpads. Okay, that's fixed. Fine. But the thing is, we would like the table header to occupy all of these cells. And we can do that by merging that top row. So we select all the cells in the top row, click and drag to select, and click merge and center. So right now, if you notice, the selection is no longer around individual cells anymore. It's around all of the cells in the top row. So that's a nice table heading, but we need to define it. And I would suggest that we make it. Okay, let's leave the front side. Let's just make it bold and size 14. We seem to have an issue, right? Since we increased the font size, it was a little bit, the services were being hidden, was being hidden across there. So that's fixed. We need also to bold the column heading to make them stand out. Right, so that looks better. Right, the last thing I would suggest that we do, okay, I'm seeing the 20 is having a little issue here. Okay, 2009, okay. That will do nicely, thank you. We can put a shading on these here, the heading, and you do that by using the paint bucket tool right here. So we are just going to select any one of these light grays here. I'll go with the second one, and that's it. So we now have a table that is defined, all the texts are visible, and the headings are separate from the content. So let's do our calculations now. The first calculation we have to do is total sales rep, and that's here. And we can do the calculation for all of these by just simply selecting the 3 cells. Once again, you just click, drag, select the 3 cells, and click the auto sum figure here. So 7 and 5 is 12, and 2 is 14, so that's correct. 23 and 29 is 53, no, 52, and 12 is 64. So yes, it was summed correctly. The next thing we have to do is the highest sales value. So the highest sales value would come from these 3 rows. The highest here is 7, highest here is 29, highest here is 31. We can do that by using a formula that is called max. So if you click here in the cell where you want the value to go, and you go up to the ribbon and you select max, Excel is going to ask you, do you want the maximum value from these 4 rows? But we don't, because the last row has not a value for number sold, but the total value from these rows. So that is going to be incorrect. If you look at what the formula is stating, is saying max B3 colon B6. This is saying the maximum value between the range B3 to B6. But we don't want 3 to 6, we want 3 to 5. And that can be fixed by simply changing, selecting the 6 and deleting it. And typing 5. So if you notice now, Excel would omit row 6. Press enter, and we have 7. And if we simply put the cursor at the bottom right hand corner over the square and drag across, we will also transfer the formula here. So we know we had already agreed that the highest value was 29, highest value is 31. So that's correct. The total sold by model also we have to calculate, and that is simply adding these across So by now you should guess that this is the sum function here. So we just click here and select auto sum. Press enter and we autofill it. Yes, but we don't need that last one. So let's delete it. Okay, so I find that this having been aligned so far out doesn't look good. So I'm going to select everything in these columns and center them. So select here, go up to the alignment and center. All right. Next thing we have to do is rename the sheet one to sales performance. So I'm going to cheat a bit. I'm trying to find a text so that I could copy it and paste it. But my laziness is not working out. Where is the text? Yeah. Okay, I would have to type it. Sales performance table. SPLES sales. PERFORMANCE. So that's the sales performance table. So we have done that. And the next thing we have to do is insert a column chart showing the total sold for each sales representative. So the column chart must show this, the total sold, along with the representative. So we need to select first by clicking and dragging straight across the sales rep tree. So from model to sales rep tree. Next, we need to select these here. But if we just select here, total sales, you notice we lose the selection at the top. So what we have to do after we have selected at the top, need to hold down the control key and then click. Okay, let me go over that again. Control, we'll select here, hold down the control key, click here and drag across. So now we have selected both the top row up to sales rep tree, but the second to last row up to sales rep tree again. We go to insert and we select column. Let me see what they're asking. Let me just reduce this a bit. We take total, so it's a column chart. So we click here and we select. All right. So that's it there. Excel would have created the column chart for us, and it gives us the total for each of the sales reps and identify them correctly. Now you were supposed to save this under the file name Excel, your student ID. So that's the first thing you were supposed to do. So let me do that now. File, save as. I'm going to just save it on my desktop. Oh, okay, I created this fold out a fake student ID that I called it Excel 12335455. Of course, I don't have a student ID. I'm not a student, but I would save it in this folder. And I'm supposed supposed to save it as Excel. Your student ID, which is 12 33455. We'll save it in that folder. And that is basically it for the tutorial. Once again, I'm going to tell you, once you are looking at this tutorial, you're using the tutorial, do not watch it as a movie. Play to each step and do each step. Then you move on. Pause, then move on. If you have to repeat it, but do not play it like a movie. If you have any questions, you know how to contact me by the Hangouts, and I'd be happy to respond. Just remember that I'll take about at least 2 days according to how much time I have.